I was listening to Howard Stern's interview with Foo Fighters last week. They have a new album that came out this month called Medicine at Midnight, and they of course have been doing the talk show circuit. One of the things that frontman and guitarist Dave Grohl discussed with Stern was how he got an offer to join Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers in the mid-90s. Grohl even performed with Tom Petty back in the mid-90s, but what happened and why did he not join the band? And what did Tom Petty think of Nirvana and Kurt Cobain? Stay tuned for the full story. Nirvana would come to an abrupt end in April of '94 following the death of frontman and guitarist Kurt Cobain. Grohl would take many months off from music as he was reeling from the death of his bandmate and close friend, and pondered what he may do next. By October of '94, Grohl would take some of the songs he had written over the past few years and head down to Robert Lang Studios in Seattle and record them over the span of a week, playing pretty much all of the instruments, with the exception of one guitar solo that Greg Dooley of the Afghan Wigs did on the song Ecstatic. That week-long session resulted in Foo Fighters' first album. A month after Grohl recorded the Foo's first record, he got a call from Tom Petty, who was scheduled to play Saturday Night Live on November 19, 1994. Petty's band, the Heartbreakers, had recently lost longtime drummer Stan Lynch and needed somebody to fill in, so he offered Grohl the spot, and he agreed.
Stan Lynch from Petty's band, the Heartbreakers, has announced that he's leaving that group after 19 years to pursue independent writing and producing projects. The split is amicable, Lynch says. He simply found himself growing apart from the group. Dave Grohl of Nirvana will sit in for Lynch when the Heartbreakers appear on Saturday Night Live next month.
According to the book The Dave Grohl Story, Petty had seen Grohl play drums during Nirvana's MTV Unplugged set and was impressed. In fact, Petty counted himself a fan of Nirvana, telling the Sydney Herald in September of 1994, "I particularly loved his music," referring to Kurt Cobain. "When one of his songs came on, it just hit you. It was so good and there won't be any more. I didn't know him, I'm just sorry it happened. He was really my favorite and it just sort of leaves a big gap." By late 1994, Petty was promoting his second solo album at the time, Wildflowers. All of the Heartbreakers had played on the album except Stan Lynch, who was replaced by drummer Steve Ferrone. That night on Saturday Night Live, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers performed the two songs, including Honeybee and You Don't Know How It Feels, with Grohl behind the drum kit.
I was really excited to play both songs, but mostly Honeybee, because Honeybee is just such a rocker. It's like the kind of thing a bunch of 16-year-olds would play in the garage to get off. It's killer. It's a barn burner.
Following that gig, Petty called Grohl and offered him the drummer's seat, with the former Nirvana drummer revealing to Stern last week, "We had so much fun and we all got along so well. Afterwards, he was like, man, that was good. It would be a shame if that's the only time we do it," sort of thing. And then he called me at home and he was like, "Look, here's how we do it. You get your own bus and we don't tour too hard. If you're into it, come out and let's do it for a little while." Grohl would go on to say that he had just started Foo Fighters and thought it would feel weird to get behind the drum kit, revealing, "It would have just reminded me of being in Nirvana. It would have been sad for me personally. It would have been an emotional thing to be behind the drum set every night and not have Kurt there. So I was like, nah, F it. I'm gonna try this other thing," he'd say. Petty would end up enlisting drummer Steve Ferrone, who had played on Wildflowers, to be the band's new drummer, and he would remain Petty's drummer for the rest of his career until 2017. And since their gig on SNL, Petty and Grohl had remained friends over the years, and Grohl even joined Petty and the Heartbreakers on stage in New York City in 2006. Tom Petty would also appear in Dave Grohl's 2013 documentary Sound City, and following his passing in 2017, Grohl said the following about the musician to Rolling Stone: "I saw him maybe a week before he died. I saw his last show and it was wonderful. It was exuberant and beautiful and happy and sounded amazing, and the band was better than I had seen them in a long time, and then he's gone. It's hard to believe he's gone, but fortunately we have his music," he'd say. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe. If you have suggestions for future topics, use the Google form in the description box below. Take care.